Hi everybody, thanks for watching today. Today's video is going to be the Campendium Camper Report. Now this thing came to me about a few months ago. They put out the 2022 Camper Report and I saved it in PDF because I thought it was really interesting perspective to see what they're posting based on my experiences, what I've experienced as an RVer. So we're gonna go through the report today. Stay tuned for that. What they did with this report, I'm looking on my computer, so you're going to see me looking over to my computer, and I'll also show you my computer here as well. So they broke this down into different topics. One is the top 5 destinations for RVers, the camper personas, camper frequency, public versus private land, average nightly rate, and number of days stayed. Top 10 states for free camping, camping accommodations, and cell service. So let's get to the report today. I'm super excited because I thought this was really interesting. So according to them, the 5 top destinations for 2021 was these 5 places, which is number 1 came in as Moab, Utah, which I gotta say Utah is pretty interesting. That's one place that I definitely want to go back to and really explore a lot more. Number 2, I was surprised that they had Sedona, Arizona on there. Now I've been to Sedona, and yes, Sedona was on the top of my list to go back to in the future. There's lots to see in Sedona and it's just beautiful. I didn't get to see as much as I wanted to because I was moving so much when I was traveling with the girls, but definitely it's a place that I want to go back to. Number 3, I was surprised, was the Florida Keys. I would have thought the Florida Keys was a little bit higher up than Sedona and Utah, but they decided to put that there. So I guess, well, we also have to remember in 2021, we're coming out of the COVID. There's still a lot of restrictions and gas is high. So it could be that this is affected because of that as well. So the Florida Keys came in 3rd. It was also a place that I've been to with my truck camper and I love it very much, although it's very expensive to camp there during the winter season. The prices are super high, so just keep that in mind. Number 4 came in as West Yellowstone, particularly West Yellowstone. Now I was on my way to Yellowstone last year, but I had to cancel that trip due to the heat wave that they experienced up in Montana. And I ended up returning back home. But that is one place that I super want to go to, is Yellowstone for sure. Number 5 came in as Tucson, Arizona. Now for me, that's not going to be a priority for me because Tucson is more of a city. I did like Tucson. It was okay, but it's not something where, you know, I think there's more places out in the world that I would really want to go to. There's 3 that are out west, there's 1 to the south, and then there's Montana, which is up to the north. So those are the 5 locations that are at the top. So then they ask you who's at the campground. 67% of campers, and I pretty much figured it were couples, people who were traveling together. Only 19% of campers were actual families. And only 14% of campers were traveling alone. I really thought that was crazy. I would have thought the numbers were a little bit higher with the families, honestly. And I would have really thought that the solo campers was a little bit more than just 14%, but I guess that's what it was in 2021. All right, the Weekend Warriors camping frequency. The largest group was for people like me who are doing now weekends and vacations. I'm not really doing anything right now, but that is where I will be in the next year or so. It's just really doing weekends, or for me, I'm not really a weekend person because I have the flexibility that I can go during the week, but that's kind of the travel that I'm planning on doing. So 60% of people that own RVs or travel in RVs are doing weekends and vacations. They're not full-timers. Only 23% are actually full-time. And 17% are part-time, which is really what I was doing, where I was traveling like 4 months, you know, during the winter, and then another 3 months, another time of the year. So half my time wasn't at home. A lot of my time was actually traveling. And for a while I was doing that, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm more of a vacation and weekend. So you can see that only 23% are actually full-time. And there's not that many of them out there. The biggest percent is 60%. So keep that in mind when you're out there being brainwashed by a lot of these channels that tell you that, everybody wants to go full time. That's not necessarily the case. And some people are full time not because they want to live the lifestyle, because they don't have a choice, because they can't afford anything else, because they have to do it that way. So keep that in mind as well. And that could be why it's a little bit higher in 2021, because people are losing their homes, foreclosure, losing their jobs, and they're turning to RV as well. So as things maybe change in the future, if they do, and jobs come back, people are able to work, they're able to afford housing, you might actually see that number drop. Also wanted to know how long these full-time campers were staying. And they usually will stay in one location for 6 nights on average when they're paying to actually stay in a place. And part-time campers stay on average of 4 nights. Now, I have to say that for me, that is not the case. Usually 3 nights for me is enough. By the second night, I'm ready on the third to go. I don't really it has to be a really super special place for me to just to sit still for 4 nights, or it has to be that I'm in a situation where I'm sick or emotionally sad about something, or going through something where I just want to sleep and relax and being calm. That's usually it. But for me, I'm more the type of person that I like to move a lot, and 3 days for me is usually it. Oh, then they asked the question, what defines full-time versus part-time? Part-time travelers are different from the full-time travelers. So part-time travelers are campers that spend between 3 and 6 months traveling in an RV, which is what I was doing, because I was traveling. I went to Colorado for 4 months, and then when I traveled with the girls, it was about 3 months that I traveled. So I was doing the part-time thing, but I'm not doing it anymore. So the full-time people are people that are living in their, always in their campers. Not necessarily has to be a person that's traveling all the time. These people can be stationary, living full-time in their campers. They could be living inside RV parks. So they're not actually moving. There's a lot of older folks that live in RV parks in campers, and they're considered full-time campers. They're just not traveling. Public versus private. They're saying that weekend warriors on average spend the greatest proportion of their trips on public land, and that private land is the most popular among part-time camping families and solo campers. And I have to agree. If I'm going to do a weekend thing, well, the state that I live in is mostly hot. So I have to, if I'm doing a weekend thing in the summertime in Florida, yes, I have to go to an RV park. You have to get hookups. But for me, when I'm part-time, I really want to save money to see other things and not spend money on just sitting at a campground. Unless I feel like I need, I've been traveling for a couple of days and I need to just relax, maybe do some laundry, do some work, catch up with internet and things like that. So yes, for me as a solo camper and part-time traveler, when I was camping, I have to agree that yes, private land is something that I did prefer to find and go to. So the average stay at an RV park, they said, was $35.90. And I have to agree, but I don't think I've ever spent $35, maybe once. I think one time I spent $35, because I know that when I'm going to go out, that's when I'm going to get my membership for, either Passport America. And recently I don't do Passport America because I am preferring to go to state parks, and state parks are way cheaper than RV parks are, only because I'm not using my black tanks up. And I don't really need all the hookups and all the amenities that they give there. But Passport America, it is great because you do pay a lot less when you subscribe to something like that. All right, so I do agree that most places are charging around $35 on average. And the prices seem to be going up. I have seen a couple where they're going up. And it depends too if you're closer to the ocean, if you're closer to a lake, or a city or something like that, you're gonna pay a lot more. So that is about the average. The top 10 states that they're saying for free camping, and I can't testify to this, is number 1, they're saying California. Now, I have been to California, and that wasn't the case for us because we were only there for a day, so I can't really testify for that. Yes, Florida does have a lot of free camping. Your only problem here is the time of the year when you're going to be here for that free camping, because there's no hookups there. So of course it has to do with the heat and the time of year that you are here. Colorado, yes, I've been there. There's a lot of free camping there, which is great. Arizona as well. Texas is a state that I really want to go to and visit. They're saying that that comes in at number 5. Utah, number 6. I have been to Utah, and there is a lot of free camping in Utah as well. 7 is Washington, 8 is Oregon, and Michigan is 9, and Ohio is 10. Those are the states that have the most free camping and that people prefer to use those camping locations. And then we're going to get here to the rig now. When they're talking about 60% of travelers prefer the trailer accommodations to the actual motorhome type of accommodations. And I will have to say that there is less maintenance owning a trailer than there is the other type. So that's why I guess people prefer to have those kind of accommodations. Plus, they also like the convenience, like I do, that you can separate your camper from your vehicle if you need to. And I'm speaking to you from the times that I owned my own, campers. And I did own a Class C. Now I have a truck camper, so I have the best of both worlds, where I could drop off my camper if I needed to use my truck in a certain locations. I would only do that though if I was at an RV park that allowed me to do that, and it was secure when I did that. That is not something that I would do in a boondocking spot or anything like that, is take the camper off of my truck, unless I was in a place that I know it was going to be secure. So yes, definitely I can see how people like to have their own car and vehicle, and to be able to spend less money on repairs. Also, when you're traveling, you have more options if you have a truck versus if you have a motorhome and you have to go to an RV repair service. What are you doing over there making all this chaos? I'm trying to film a video. Do you see this cat over there? Do you see her right there? Whatever. Timing is everything. This was an interesting thing in their report, because they're saying that on average, if the place that you stay has 5 bars of cell service, usual cost is around $33. Most people would prefer to stay there than if they had to pay $20 per night for a place where they had no service. I tend to agree, because if I'm going to spend $30 on a campground, I'm going to make sure that it has super good internet, and I'm going to be able to use, for so many things. So for me, I'm mostly the kind of person that does free camping, but when I do go to an RV park, I like to do my laundry. I like to upgrade all my tablets, computers, and I need to have really good internet and upload and do a whole bunch of things. So yes, for me, the $33, I would pay it, but it definitely has to have that really great cell service. So it was interesting, because they're saying that the people look at this cat. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Look at this kitty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you're on a rage today. This was interesting, because they're saying that if the places that have full cell service, people would stay longer because of the cell service that they would in other places. They would stay 5.2 days versus 3.2 days. And I have to tend to agree, because when I have no cell service, that's why for me 3 days is enough at a place, because obviously my cell service is not going to be that great most of these places, and I'm using my hotspot or whatever. So yeah, I have to be moving on. Plus I also have a small rig, so I guess it might be a little bit different, because yeah, I'm outdoors a lot, but I'm out there most of the time because I'm in a small rig and I just need to change the landscape because I'm so much outside, versus maybe somebody that has a bigger rig may want to stay longer in a free campsite because they have the bigger rig and they have more amenities inside the rig. But for me, it's like I'm such a small space that I do feel like I need to move, because I spend a lot of my time in my rig inside of my dinette. So I hope you really enjoyed this video and getting a perspective from somebody who's traveled across the country and seeing it in a different way. I hope that it helps you a little bit, maybe determine on the kinds of things and the kind of travels that you want to do in the future. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm back to doing some RV videos when I can. I mean, I don't always do RV videos because I'm not traveling right now. But if there is something important or something that I feel that the Spirit is moving me in RVing to give to you during the week, then I will go ahead and do those videos here. Right now, I'm doing a lot of homesteading videos because people are preparing, getting ready for all of the things that are happening in the world. And I want to be able to help those people with the things that I'm learning as well as I prepare here. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.